Victor Manisov here from Aspired Property Experts. Bit of a different one today. The team's asked me to do some reactions to some videos. I haven't seen them yet, so let's see what they've come up with.
Gen Z shouldn't buy a house. They should rent and take their capital and invest it in something else.
Amen.
Here's the math. $1 million property in Australia, you put down 20%, that's $200,000. You borrow $800,000 at 6% interest, that's $48,000 a year just in the interest payments. Now you compare that with renting the same property, 3.5% rental yield, that's $35,000 a year. You've saved $13,000 annually.
Absolutely, it is much cheaper to buy, rather to rent where you want to live rather than buy it. You could rent the same place for $700 a week that it would cost about $1,300 or $1,400 to actually buy. It's not wrong.
Put that into an S&P 500 index fund over 10 years and at 12% or 10% average annual return, it's $13,000 a year that compounds to around $250,000.
So absolutely agree that rent vesting is a better model and applying your money to something else makes more sense. But I'm a property guy, very openly biased. If you put it into an S&P 500 like he suggests, and that grew at, let's say 10% compounding year on year. Let's say you had 100,000 compounding at 10% year on year. In 10 years time, you'll have made about 160 grand in profit. Now, if we did the same thing with property, we'd take our 100 grand, but we wouldn't be getting growth on 100 grand. We'd be taking 100, buying a $700,000 property, getting growth on a $700,000 property. Now, even if that underperforms by Australian standards and only grows at, say, 6% year on year, the profit on that would still be around $550,000, more than double what you looked at with shares. I'm very openly biased. I love property, but that's why. Leverage. Leverage is king. Let's see what else.
Okay. Should we check in on house prices?
If you really want to.
Oh, come on. It can't be that bad.
Well, whether it's bad or not is relative, but the national median home price is up 12 grand in the last 3 months. Sydney and Perth are up 100,000 bucks in the last year, and now Brisbane is more expensive than Melbourne.
I mean, nothing new. That's basically how cycles go.
Really? Yeah.
Feels like a lot.
Yeah, those interest rate hikes didn't really stop the price rises.
Were they meant to do that?
Well, they made mortgages a lot more expensive. And so what?
That's pretty much what you can expect from Australian property prices. We have the worst housing crisis in Australian history. More people coming in, not enough housing. When there's more people that want something and not enough of that something, creates competition, which drives property prices up. And they'll continue to do that. We'll actually do another video on this specifically to show you why it's going to keep happening. Great video though. All right, what else have we got?
You're lucky to get a unit,
One
a
bedroom
two-bedroom, yeah, for 120,000.
By our calculations, these three-bedroom, mainly fibro homes are the cheapest houses in Sydney. But even if you bought one, you're unlikely to get change out of $75,000.
Well, I've been approved from the bank.
75,000. That wouldn't even be enough for a granny flat these days.
Borrow $85,000 to $90,000, and we have to miss out on a few enjoyments in life.
Sydney property has soared in value by as much as 60% in the past 6 months, and there's no sign of the increase tailing off.
Oh, I suppose we could rent, but I don't believe in renting. I think it's dead money.
How long is it going to be before the young couple with first-time buyers are going to be priced out of the market altogether?
I believe they're priced out of the market now.
I don't remember a time where people didn't think that they were priced out of the market realistically. If you're waiting for the best time to invest in property, well, that was 20 years ago or yesterday. The next best time is as soon as you're in a position to. It's now. And you're never going to regret buying a property, but you definitely will regret that you didn't buy the property. The question is really just where. Great clip though. Let's see what else the team has.
Personally, I like to buy in places which are close to airports, no more than 40 kilometres to the city,
Amen.
and not 40 kilometres, I should say 40 minutes, near amenities, close enough to schools, close to public transport hubs if possible, close to hospitals. That way...
Absolutely. First of all, I love Mark. Amenities are really critical, really important, but don't forget that that leaves you open to an emotional purchase of something you like.
That way you can start to de-risk your asset class called real estate.
Agree with Mark completely. Amenities are really important. But what's more important is a lot of the statistics that go into why an area makes sense. We use 72 of these. To give you an example, owner occupies to investors. Really critical to have lots of owners and fewer investors in an area. From a rental perspective, if there's less rentals available, then typically the rent on those properties is higher. Better cash flow. From a growth perspective, when you buy for yourself to live, is that more emotional or less emotional? Typically more. As a result, you're likely to spend a bit extra, right? Higher comparable sales drags your property price up. It means that there's more growth in those locations. So really important statistic. Amenities are key, but some of those stats, even better. All right, what else has the team got for us?
Buy where you can afford. And I don't care where it is. Anywhere. Anywhere in Australia. Regional, metro, buy where you can afford. You're not buying it to live in it. You're going to rent somewhere with your mates where you want to live, which is going to be close
So rent vesting, again, absolutely love this. It's super powerful.
to where you work or whatever the case may be, whatever you want to be close to. But get in on the property ladder. Buy something for 500,000. Buy two for 5. Then when you got another 50,000, like 3 or 4 years later, buy another one for 500,000.
I love Mark. This is exactly what I did. I lived with family, bought property. I went out and rented. I continued to buy property, used the first one to help me get the next one, and so on. So completely agree with that, and always be buying at the affordable price points, because those aren't the properties that drop in value. They're the ones that continue to rise. The thing I'd be weary of is not just buying any property at 500,000. Really, you've got to follow criteria that make sure that you get results. So focus on high growth properties with as little out of pocket as possible, and go and rent where you want to live. Absolutely agree. All right. Thanks for watching. That was pretty fun. Let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe you agree with some of the points I made. Maybe you disagree with them. Chuck something in the comments to let me know. And if there's any more content that you want to see me react to, please send it over. I'll be reacting to more in the future. With that being said, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.